There's something wonderful about the way things once were. The small things in our own homes that seemed so typical at the time, now they're like old acquaintances we hardly recall. The position of the sunlight on the tile, the hiss of the faucet as it turned, even the scent of that one soap your grandmother always used. It all transports us back. You can practically hear the creak of the floorboard, the leaky faucet dripping, the sound of laughter coming from down the hallway. Bathrooms were not mere locations to clean oneself, they were a part of the beat of family life. Today, we're taking a little trip down memory lane to the bathrooms of yesterday. The ones with quirks, charm, and a few things you'd never expect to see today. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's count down. 10 bathroom features from the past you'll never see again. Pink tile bathrooms. Oh, pink bathrooms. If your grandmother had one, you knew she was proud of it. During the 1940s to the 1960s, blush pink ceramic tile was ubiquitous. Walls, floors, even the tub surround. They weren't merely attractive. They represented post-war optimism, a splash of color in the world after many years of war-induced shortages. Families longed for houses that felt bright and contemporary, and pink was ideal. But tastes evolved. By the 1980s, pink began to seem old-fashioned, even a bit tacky. Homeowners started tearing them out, replacing them with neutral color schemes or white tile. Now, most of those pink bathrooms are gone with the wind, although some retro aficionados continue to battle to preserve them, painstakingly restoring old houses to their former splendor. If you ever happen to walk into one, it's like walking into a time capsule of mid-century glamour. Pull chain toilets. Picture this, a porcelain knob hanging from the wall, connected by a metal chain to the toilet tank. You'd give it a tug, hear that clunky flush, and hope it didn't stick. These were common in homes built before the 1960s, simple, durable, and kind of satisfying to use. No electricity, no fancy mechanisms, just gravity and a rubber flapper doing its job. They had personality. Sometimes the chain would snap, or the knob would come off, and Dad would have to repair it with a paperclip and a prayer. But when it functioned, it worked just as well. As flush valves improved and modern levers became standard, the pull chain faded away. Now you'll mostly find them in old farmhouses, train stations, or museums, quiet reminders of a simpler way to flush. Metal bathtubs with feet. There's something elegant about a clawfoot tub standing on fancy iron feet, often tucked in a corner with a shower curtain on a ring. These were the focal point of most early 20th century bathrooms, usually of cast iron with a thick porcelain coating. They held an astonishing amount of water, and they retained the heat too. A bath was warm for days. Filling one was a chore that lasted an eternity, and hot water was a luxury. You scheduled your bath like an appointment, perhaps even used the same water as siblings. But soaking in one? Utter bliss. As houses became smaller and bathrooms tighter, these bulky tubs were replaced by space-efficient ones. Now, they're a retro fantasy, more of a decoration than an everyday necessity, but nevertheless the stuff of romantic films and snug novels. Medicine cabinets with mirrors on both sides. Open the cabinet, and there it was, your face staring back not only from the front, but from the inside of the door as well. Double mirror cabinets were a mid-century bathroom fixture, allowing you to inspect your hair from all sides. They were deep enough to conceal clutter, toothpaste, bobby pins, that old razor your dad insisted still functioned. They contained everything, comb, toothbrush, perhaps a tube of Italis for Dad. Useful, sure, but a bit magical too, like a hidden doorway to your morning self. You'd lift the lid and feel like you were moving into a ritual. Modern cabinets are flashier, sometimes with LED lighting and anti-fog mirrors, but they lack that same character. They don't squeak when you open them or fog up when the shower is in use. And they certainly don't feel like they're part of someone else's history. Wall-mounted sink sprayers. Before handheld showers, there was this quirky little gadget, a small hose and nozzle mounted right on the sink. You'd pull it out to rinse your face, wash a toothbrush, or even fill a glass without leaning over the faucet. Some kids even used it to sneak a drink when mom wasn't looking. It was a good solution prior to modern plumbing, when multifunctional sinks were a hassle. The sprayer was time and water saving, and it was high tech for the time. But as design shifted toward clean lines and minimalism, these little sprayers vanished. They looked a little clunky, and newer sinks didn't have the extra hole for the hose. Now, they're a forgotten helper from another era, unless you're lucky enough to find one in an old house. Linoleum bathroom floors. Not tile, linoleum, that warm, speckled floor that was nice between bare toes on a chilly winter morning. From the 1920s through the 1970s, it was a hit in bathrooms, low maintenance, colorful, and surprisingly resilient. Composed of natural ingredients such as linseed oil and cork dust, it was really green before green was cool. Grandma most likely had a checkerboard design or small daisies spread out on the floor. And if something got spilled, a simple wipe down with a damp cloth and it was fine as new. But it wouldn't withstand ongoing dampness like tile would. The moment water did get in, it bubbled up and peeled. Now it's all but vanished, but not without a memory. Collectors still search for old rolls, attempting to bring antique homes back to the way they were. Toilet paper holders that locked. Ever had one of your rolls of toilet paper swiped as a joke? In some houses, that wasn't even an option thanks to the locked toilet paper holder. Usually chrome in construction, with a teeny key or sliding cover, these protected the roll, particularly in shared or public restrooms, such as in schools or vintage motels. They were utilitarian, sure, but a bit enigmatic as well. Like a little safe for the most basic of household items. You had to unlock it just to roll it over, which made the entire apparatus suddenly feel somewhat weighty. As design and trust improved, these went out of style. Folks began to use plain rods or ornamented holders. Today, they're a nostalgic reminder of a more trusting era and a collector's delight. Over the toilet storage shelves, wooden shelves installed directly above the toilet tank, ideal for additional rolls, air fresheners, or that ceramic duck your aunt sent you. In tiny bathrooms, each inch mattered, and this was clever, plain storage. No closet. Don't worry, you might pile towels, store a candle, or even hide a book for extended visits. They vanished as toilet tanks became shorter and slimmer, no more high tanks to construct atop. New toilets are low and snug, with no space for shelves. But if you came up using one, you know the delight of reaching up and grasping what you needed, without even getting up. It was a small slice of daily brilliance and adorned, practical, and quietly lamented. Cold-only bathroom faucets. True as it sounds, some bathrooms, particularly in older cottages or houses, had only cold water at the sink. Hot water was reserved for the kitchen or the weekly bath. It was economical in terms of conserving fuel and keeping things simple, particularly in wood-burning heated homes or homes with sparse plumbing. You'd wash your hands quickly, perhaps splash your face, and that was it. In the winter, it was a shocker, but you adjusted. Children were told, it's good for your circulation. As plumbing improved and heating systems grew more efficient, cold-only taps disappeared. Nowadays, it's difficult to visualize, but then it was simply the norm. A tiny reminder that ease wasn't always a given, but we managed. Bathtub phones. Yes, seriously. Some 1950s and 60s homes had a phone hung next to the bathtub. Typically a rotary phone in a water-resistant case, so mom could talk while soaking after a long day. It wasn't for lengthy calls, more to catch up with a neighbor or plan dinner. It seems crazy now. Think about dropping your phone in the tub. But it was a luxury, a mini getaway, an opportunity to unwind and chat without someone banging on the door. When phones miniaturized and bathrooms became more crowded, the notion dissipated. Now we have smartphones. But we can't take them near water. The irony. But you can't help but question, did those bathtub conversations feel a bit more genuine? A bit more authentic? These small bits of the past might be lost from our houses, but not from our memories. They speak to us of simpler days, of family rituals, and the quiet pleasures of ordinary life. Perhaps your original house had one of them. Perhaps your parents mentioned them. Perhaps not, but they are part of the history of how we lived and how we still remember. If this reminded you of something, we'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment below and let us know, what's the strangest bathroom feature you remember from your youth? Was it the pink tiles, the clawfoot tub, or perhaps the phone in the bathtub? And if you liked this blast from the past, give us a like, hit subscribe, and join us again next time.